Hello everyone, this is Half Baked Sims with another video. We're going to do something a little different today. Instead of the usual flight or flight movie or goofing around in Microsoft Flight Simulator, we're going to be trying out Tower Simulator 3. I say trying out, you can see I've already been playing it for all of last night. I bought it yesterday and pretty much played it the rest of the day. I think it's really fun. It's obviously got some work. It's cut out for it, still with development. It needs a little bit of work with just quality of life stuff, the UI, just kind of stuff like that. But for the most part, it is really fun. For those that don't know what this is, basically you are ATC at an airport. They're real life airports. There's 4 in the game right now. Let me see if I can show you what ones they are. It's LAX, LaGuardia, Raleigh-Durham, and Cyril E. King and St. Thomas Island. These are all real-life airports. They're modeled like shockingly well for a game that's mainly about moving planes around a map. The 3D modeling is actually incredible. It looks really good. Let's just get this up on the other screen. So there's different ways to play it. You can play it in quick play. I would recommend the first thing that you do is obviously play through the campaigns. These are very well done snippets of a day at ATC. This game operates in real time like a real world would. As you can see, the morning coffee shift is 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning. If you play quick play, it's pretty nice. So if we chose this airport, you can choose what time you start at. And you can choose, the weather, which runways are open. We'll get more to this stuff later. But basically the way that the game works is it would work like a real life airport would. So if you start at 6 a.m., all the planes are going to be leaving, and then you wait a couple hours and then all the planes come in. There's, planes that go back and forth here and there. But for the most part, that's kind of how it works. So we're going to start off, and I think what we're going to do in this series is I'm really just going to play through all of these. I've played up through... Oh, geez. That was a weird glitch. What the heck? Can I scroll up? Yep. See, this is the UI crap I'm talking about. There we go. I've played through all of these up to Easy Sunday Afternoon in New York. This Wake Up New York kicked my butt yesterday. This is really hard. This game does need some help with interactions with planes, and if you accidentally crash 2 planes, it says, a message pops up that says minus 100 points, like you've committed a grievous error, blah blah blah. It says it will delete the planes, but it never does. So if you're, an hour and a half into a 2-hour shift on one of these campaigns and you weren't paying attention and 2 planes bump into each other on a taxiway, they won't move. There's no way to move the planes. You can't get them to turn around. You can't get them to back up. You can't delete one of the planes so the other one can move. They're stuck there forever. So the only way is to restart unless you just don't use the taxiway. So I think we'll just start off with the morning coffee so I can kind of talk about the game a little. It's a very light start for the game. This game can get extremely hectic very quickly, especially if you start when everybody's departing the gate at the same time at LaGuardia. You can have 15 planes request pushback in 5 minutes. It gets pretty crazy. One of the things that I would recommend if you're starting this game, the easiest way to play this game, you can control it with your keyboard, but the easiest way to play it is with your voice. So you get a good microphone, you turn on Microsoft, you train it to your voice for a couple minutes, you read a couple sentences and it picks up on your voice. And then you come over here. This is their Tower 3D Pro, but all this applies to Tower 3. And you come down here, and this will have kind of a cheat sheet of all of the made-up airlines right here. It shows you all of the airlines that are in the game. Some of them are kind of weird, like Tab becomes Leslie. I thought that one's kind of odd. TGB is Globe, so kind of like real life. Some of them are called something completely different than their 3-letter code. The other thing that I would really like to see in this game that's not currently in there is a list of commands that you can issue. Right now, it's purely guessing what you can say to planes. It took me 15 minutes just to figure out how to get a plane to taxi. because saying taxi to runway doesn't do anything. You literally just have to say the plane's call sign and then runway, and they'll start moving. So you'll see that in a second, but we'll get into the game here. It does take a little while to load up because the 3D environment is so expansive. It's not just the runways, you'll see in a second. It's the whole surrounding area. So when you play in New York, you can see the skyline in the background. When you play in LA, you can see the mountains, and here you can see all the ocean and the mountainous terrain surrounding it. Okay, we are all loaded up. The first thing I'm going to do is quickly pause the game here. So this is the screen you'll be presented with when you first load the game up. This has everything you need right in front of you. You can kind of just zoom in, zoom out. There we go. So each screen here can be represented on the screen in the control tower. You can look around. Like I said, the 3D environment's pretty crazy here. You can see everything coming and going. This is an okay way to control everything. I found that it's a little restrictive as far as the size of the screens can get as far as these bigger airports, but at a smaller airport like this with one runway and its small gates and taxiways, this is perfectly fine. So basically, let's go through each screen. We'll do kind of an introduction. So this screen is obviously a layout of the entire airport, and it will show you active planes that are calling out for ATC or being directed in some way. They'll have a tag on it. You can change the size of everything on the screen, making the icons bigger or smaller. You can change the orientation if you want, runway tags, stuff like that. So any plane that is actively being able to controlled will pop up here. You'll see sometimes a plane, like you see how this is Field Air 4873, that's what FRT is. You'll see how he has his beacon on. So sometimes you'll see a plane like over here, he might turn his beacon on, but he's not ready for pushback yet, so he won't pop up on the screen. The second he pops up on the screen, he'll ask for pushback. So as soon as they're on the screen, you can actually interact with them. It's pretty cool. And any plane that pops up on here, we'll have to watch out for, especially when they're on the taxiways. So that's a good way to keep track of them. You know, instead of looking out the window to see where they are, you can just look down here. This is tracking your inbound and outbound flights. So it's pretty nice. You're mostly a tower and ground controller here. You don't really have to worry about SIDS and stars and arrivals, departures. The only thing that you'll have is you'll set up which runway they're using to land and take off from, and they'll appear on the side of the screen and they'll just fly straight down the runway. There's no like circle to land. There's no craziness going on. They just kind of appear and file in, which is really nice, especially when you've got 15 planes on the ground that you're trying to take off, and there's 4 planes coming in. You don't have to worry about directing them. You can change their separation coming in. If you're just starting and you're at a busy airport, there's like, I would seriously recommend 10 nautical miles because it gives you time to get a plane off the ground between each plane landing, because sometimes when it gets busy, there will be 5 planes lined up trying to land at the same time. And 3 nautical miles is way too close. I don't know how you could ever land planes doing that. So this will only need when planes are landing, and after they take off, we'll have to tell them to contact departure. Over here is our METAR. This is where you control which runway is active for landing and which planes can land on that runway. So I've noticed something about this game. I don't know if the developers did this on purpose or if they're confused on the wind direction, but if our wind is coming from 283 facing runway, if it's coming from 283, that means it's blowing in, let's see, it's blowing like this direction. And right now runway 10 is set up as our landing runway, which is, I think that's right. I think that's 10 out there. Yes. Sometimes it's a little weird. So runway 10 faces 10 degrees. So runway 10 more or less faces vertically. This map, I don't think is doing a good job of kind of showing the orientation of the runway on it. But so if the wind is coming from 283 degrees, we need to face 283 degrees. So we need to do this runway, and we need to turn off runway 10. I've noticed this at every single airport that I've done on the campaign is it's completely opposite of what it should be. And I'll let it, the first time I let it ride and just let it do its thing while that was happening. And after a while, this exceeded 10 knots and planes couldn't land or take off because the tailwind was too high. And I didn't even think about that. So we've changed it so that runway 28, which faces 280 degrees, which the wind is coming from 283 degrees, this should all line up now. And once again, this is facing 28, coming from 283. So this is right. So that's what the METAR does. Each thing, this is cargo, wide body, narrow body, regional, business. I can't remember what T is, and then prop. T is trainer, maybe. I should know that. But that's the different type of plane. So when you have a bigger airport, like once you move on to airports with more than one runway, you'll have an airway or a runway that is longer than the other. You'll want to use that for your bigger planes and the other one for smaller planes if you have them. The fourth thing we need to look at is this is the command panel. I would highly recommend sitting here if you're just starting the game, because this will display all the commands, and this is also how you play with the keyboard. So I might do it in a second, but you can enter the same commands that I'll say here and it'll punch it in, and you don't have to use a microphone to play. So if you're worried about that, if you're trying to play around a roommate or something, or you just don't want to talk into a microphone that day, you can just type. It usually takes about the same amount of time, so not that big a deal. But that's what this is for. This will show all your commands. When you start talking, it'll pop up in the top left, and that gives you a chance to see what you're about to say before it inputs into the system. But if you say something and you thought it was right and they say negative, you can look down here and see what it actually says. Sometimes you miss a direction or something. And the last thing, which is really important, is your bins, your strip. What this does is anytime a plane spawns, basically, it'll pop up here. So we saw that the Field Air 4873 popped up on our map. That means he popped up on our ground departure pending. This is where everything starts. If somebody started coming down final approach here, they would pop up here into pending. And this is pretty much, you don't have to follow any flow with this. This is kind of your own way to keep track of it. You don't even have to use this technically. I could land and take off every single plane. I could do it 40 times and not even touch this, and the game wouldn't care. This is just purely for your own organization, however you want to deal with it. The way that I usually do it is when I give pushback clearance, I leave them in ground departure pending. And then as soon as I give them taxi clearance, I'll move them to departure as they taxi down the runway. And then as soon as they're off the runway and I give them to departure, then I'll bin it, and that deletes it from the screen. You can also, in this little strip here, you can type stuff if you want to type notes on a plane, say like, you tell somebody to go around, you could type on their card go around, so that when they come back around, to give them priority for landing. Or you could type say pushback clearance given if you're doing your flow a different way. So that's pretty much how the thing works here. I would recommend staying in this tower if you have one monitor. It's a very easy way to do it. Personally, I don't like the tower. I think it's very constrictive on what I can see. So what you can do is you can pop out of the tower and you can go up in the air and you can see so much more. And a good way to see everything without restricting your view from the tower, and you get some bigger screens too. So you can add your ADERS screen here. You can see it. You can just drag it around on a window, and you can add an external window. So if you have an extra monitor here, you can actually put stuff up on that and not block this. What we're going to do though is I'm going to do this kind of thing so that you can see everything, and we'll do the METAR down here just in case that changes. Just keep an eye on the winds. We'll do that. Actually, we'll put that here. Put the strip here, maybe. And I really wish I could make this thing smaller. This thing kind of pisses me off that it has to be this big, but whatever, we'll do that. Okay, so we've got a good view of the airport. we've got a good view of all of our charts and our systems that we need. We've got a good view of the METAR. We switched the runway, so it's time to unpause. And you'll hear him call for pushback clearance pretty quick.
St. Thomas ground. Field Air 4873 with information echo. Requesting push and start.
So they're all robot voices, but there are different ones. Some of them are better than others. So when they request push and start like that, the way that you would give them pushback clearance is you'd say, Field Air 4873, pushback approved, expect runway 28.
Ground, 28 pushback approved. Field Air 4873.
So there we go. They're going to push back. You can see they started up the propellers. They've got the little pushback tug. And they're going to push back this way because they're expecting runway 28. That's how you tell them which way to push back, by the way. The only thing that I've noticed that's kind of frustrating is that some airports, you want them to push back a certain direction, but go around a terminal and go to a runway, and you have to tell them the wrong runway on pushback and then tell them the right runway on taxi. And it's kind of frustrating. I just noticed that the reason that this spooked me for a second is we're actually facing south. We're not facing north like this indicates. So they'll push back. This tutorial mission is pretty easy. There's not really a whole lot going on. There's only one runway, so you don't have to worry about people crossing runways and running into each other. You can see that we've got this value 1115 is on arrival. He's up here. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see his name. You can decrease the tag a little bit, make the line bigger so we know which one he is. And we'll do that. I wish I could just drag this up. So we've got a 5 nautical mile separation from anybody else coming in behind him. So they usually won't. You can't really interact with them until they call to you. That's how ATC works. Unless you tell them to divert or go off course, they will call you around 4,000 feet usually and tell you that they're on final approach. Something I do appreciate about this game is it actually does take a long time for them to disconnect the tug.
Field Air 4873 ready to taxi.
St. Thomas Tower, value 1115 on final 28.
So there you go. He called for final. He's still way out there. I don't even know if we can see him yet. He's way out there. Actually, no, he'd be way out this way. I don't see him yet. So we can deal with this guy first. Field Air 4873, runway 28.
Runway 28. Field Air 4873.
Yeah, you can see I got confused on which runway I was doing. I was doing too much New York. So he'll start taxiing, and you can click on them on the map, or you can click on them here. It'll highlight them, and it'll show you where they're going. And on more complicated airports, you actually can tell them to take specific taxiways, which is really helpful if you want to avoid running planes into each other. So value 1115 will give him clearance to final. Value 1115, enter final runway 28.
Enter final runway 28. Value 1115.
So,
St. Thomas Tower, value 1115 at runway 28.
Okay, that was weird. So that's how you give them basically clearance to line up so that they're ready for landing clearance when it comes. We'll see how far. It looks like he's still about 10 miles out. I think these rings are 5, if I had to guess. I don't see him yet. They don't pop up for a while. There's kind of a visual. They kind of just spawn in at some point as they get closer to the airport. Oh, there he is. Speak of the devil. So right now he's some UFO-looking blob, but as he gets closer, we will be able to make out his aircraft, and he'll slow down after we give landing clearance. So what we can do is Field Air 4873, runway 28, cleared for immediate takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for immediate takeoff. Field Air 4873.
So that immediate takeoff is very important here, because usually when you clear them for takeoff, or you don't clear them at all, the first thing they'll do is they'll hold short. All the planes will hold short. They won't just line up on the runway. You can tell them to line up and wait, but usually they'll just stop here. They'll hold short. That's their automatic command. The first thing they'll do when you tell them to take off is they'll get up on the runway and they'll do a standing takeoff. If you tell them an immediate takeoff, they'll do this rolling takeoff where he's not going to stop. He might slow down for a second, but he's about to kick in the power and he's going to take off without slowing down or stopping, which is, you know, kind of that Southwest style takeoff. And there he goes. And then as soon as he's cleared, just taking his time here, we'll clear our friend over there to land. So he's rolling. He's rolling. This might be one of those funny glitchy takeoffs because it's a prop plane. He might just start hovering here. That's what happens with the GA planes like the Cessnas. All of a sudden, they'll just, yep, there he goes. There's takeoff. So the other thing about this game is there's different plane types. They're kind of real-world analogs, but they're not real-world planes. This is a BTRP, so that's kind of like a Dash 8. So we'll give this guy landing clearance. He's really close. Value 1115, runway 28 cleared to land.
Runway 28 cleared to land. Value 1115.
So we'll put him in the arrival 128. Here he comes into land. Usually they'll come down to about 1,000 feet before doing a go around themselves. They'll self-initiate a go around if you give them landing clearance too late. This guy's really hovering down the plane. So the other guy that took off, you can see he pops up here, and that he's got a dark speed and altitude indicator to indicate that he was a departure. So once you get about 2,000 feet, you can hand him off to departure and you no longer have to deal with him. So once this guy touched down, you can actually click on his card and it will show you where he's going to park. So that makes it easier to help avoid collisions on the taxiway, but we'll give him taxi clearance. Value 1115, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Value 1115.
There's a successful landing. So it doesn't count as a successful landing until you give them taxi clearance to the terminal, and you can just say taxi to terminal and it'll auto find the best route. Same with taxi to the runway if you don't want to deal with them. But we'll do this. Field Air 4873, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
See how he's no longer lit up or anything? It means we can no longer interact with him. He is off our radar, not off our radar, but off our metaphorical radar. We no longer have to deal with him. He will either fly straight out or fly around and do something. You can actually watch him fly away. I think he just despawned as we looked. You can actually see him to a pretty good distance. So our friend here is going to taxi all the way down and park up at this gate here that this guy just left from. Kind of cool. Sometimes you can get planes if you're waiting a long time to push back and planes are coming in. Sometimes you can end up with a plane that's pushing back while a plane is coming into their gate. So you have to kind of worry about where these guys are actually going to end up. And for longer stretches like this, I don't know why you're stopping there. And then you continue. I usually like to use 2 times acceleration. Sometimes you kick it up to 4. I usually play on 2 unless there's a lot happening, just because there's very long stretches in this game where nothing happens. It's very realistic where, especially at a smaller airport like this, you can go
St. Thomas
10
Ground,
minutes without anything
Field Air
happening.
6961 with information golf, requesting push and start.
So that would be this guy, this Field Air. He's got his beacon lights on. And there's another flight coming in, just popped up on our card here. So this guy's parked up. We'll bin him. We don't have to no longer worry about him. As soon as he parks, he will disappear from everything. So we'll give this guy startup approval. Field Air 6961, pushback approved. Expect runway 28.
Ground 28 pushback approved. Field Air 6961.
So the little tug pops up, and now they're going to push him back this way, and then he'll taxi down this way. Pretty easy. And you can see their icon here too is a block, and the second that they pull the pin and the tug is detached and they're ready to taxi, they'll turn into the airplane icon. Blue airplanes are departures, and red airplanes are arrivals. Some airports do it differently. It's based on real life stuff, so some airports do things procedurally differently than others. So some airports will have a additional bin here, which will be departures and arrivals that you'll put them in, say after they've taken off, but they haven't been handed off to departure yet. You'll do that. So this guy's still way out there. He's at 5,500 feet at 220 knots. Don't have to worry about him for quite a while. We should maybe be able to get this guy off the ground before he lands. As far as I've seen, there isn't really a penalty for taking your time with stuff. There's no, like, the pilots won't yell at you. If you ignore them on a radio call without saying standby, they'll yell at you. But for the most part, if you have...
St. Thomas Ground. Field Air 6961 ready to taxi.
See, he turned into an airplane. Field Air 6961, runway 28.
Runway 28. Field Air 6961.
So he'll go over there. Yeah, what I was saying is if you have 15 planes lined up here, and
St. Thomas Tower, Field Air 8611 on final 28.
And you wait for somebody to land, they won't really yell at you. They'll kind of just sit there. They're pretty complacent. As you can see, this game is very hard to talk during. If you play at LaGuardia or LAX and it's peak hours, you will literally be holding the control button talking for maybe 20 straight minutes. So if you get hoarse easily, it might not be the most relaxing game for you. So we still don't even see him. We might have to land him first. He's at 3,000 feet, 3,700 feet right now. It all depends on how quickly this guy can taxi down to the runway. If this guy's under 3,000 feet, which he probably will be by the time he even gets there, we might just have to let him hold short. And I can show you how lineup and weight works, so we'll do that. Field Air 8611, runway 28, cleared to land.
Runway 28 clear to land. Field Air 8611.
Cool. So he's clear to land. So we're going to have this guy. What he's going to do is he's going to hold short. He's going to stop on the runway marker right here. Automatically, I won't even have to say anything to him. You can see they actually like deploy flaps and stuff too. It's really cool. The 3D modeling in this game is insane. That's definitely what their heart went into. Everything works like it should, but there's just a lot of quality of life things they need to improve. But once they get that ironed out, I don't understand how this game could not be like one of the better ATC games ever. There's really not a whole lot of them out there. It's got some negative reviews on Steam right now, just because of compatibility issues and voice recognition issues and stuff like that. But if you set it up correctly through the Microsoft voice recognition software, and there's a tutorial on their website to do that, you shouldn't have an issue. It took me about 5 minutes to do it, and then obviously once I figured out what commands to issue, planes followed them no problem. It didn't give me any trouble at all. So this Field Air on the ground should hold short in a second while we wait for this guy on final. We can speed this up just a little bit.
St. Thomas Ground. Value 1118 with information golf. Requesting push and start.
So that would be this guy. Value 1118, pushback approved, expect runway 28.
Ground 28 pushback approved.
That's actually this guy. So this guy's also about to start up. You can see he's got a light on. That means we're probably going to get a startup call from him in a second. I think this is the guy that landed a while ago. So we're still waiting on him to shut down. But this guy's blinking. So that means he might request a pushback in a second. Here our friend comes down the runway here. We've got our dude holding short, like I said. So the EJT-1, I think that might be like an Embraer or like an A320 or A319. It's kind of a smaller
St. Thomas Ground.
jet.
Leslie 926 with information golf. Requesting push and start.
Yeah, I think that's over there. These are like Dash 8s and stuff like that. And who just called? Leslie 926, pushback approved. Expect runway 28.
Ground 28 pushback approved.
So you can see that
Leslie 926.
when you give them pushback clearance, they will pop up with what runway you cleared them to. We've got another flight coming in. So this guy's landing. Field Air 69 or 61, runway 28, line up and wait.
Runway 28, line up and wait.
So that's a good
Field
way.
Air 69 61.
That's my favorite way to
St. Thomas
make
Ground,
sure.
Value 1118, ready to taxi.
That's my favorite way to make sure that we get planes in and out on time. Value 1118, runway 28, hold short.
Runway 28, hold short. Value 1118.
So he will come and hold short of the runway. I didn't have to say that, but I like to say that. Field Air 8611, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Field Air 8611.
So we're going to have to make sure that we stop him here if this guy is taxied out of this in time. Otherwise, they're going to run into each other, and that'll break the game because neither of them can back up at that point. So you got to be really careful when you send these guys around. There's no undo button. There's no save button right now. That's one of the quality of life things we think we really
Leslie
need
926 ready to taxi.
is a way to undo something. Leslie 926, runway 28.
Runway 28. Leslie 926.
Okay, so this guy's off the runway. Field Air 69 or 61, runway 28, clear for takeoff.
Runway 28, cleared for takeoff. Field Air 69 or 61.
So he'll get rolling here. We might be able to get a couple planes out before this next guy lands. He's still way out there, and Field Air 1601 DPRP. I think that might be a prop plane. He's only going 125 knots. It's probably a Cessna, which means it's going to take him a long time to get here. So this guy's going to make it out. We don't have to worry about him. There's a successful takeoff. We don't have to worry about him, but he's going to stop for some reason. They always do that. And then you're going to continue.
St. Thomas Tower, Field Air 1601 on final 28.
Yeah, he's way out there still. I mean, it's going to take him forever to get here. So we can give this guy immediate takeoff, actually. Value 1118, runway 28, cleared for takeoff. So he'll roll onto the runway stop
Runway
and then
28,
he'll go.
cleared for takeoff. Value 1118.
Field Air 69 or 61, contact departure.
Roger, good morning.
So he's gone. Bye. And this guy is going to taxi up. And right there where that other plane right. This is actually funny. They're replacing each other. I was just talking about this. So here's what happens when you do a regular takeoff. As you can see the light. Look how good that looks. Like, that's crazy. You don't expect that from this kind of game. So he's going to stop. He's going to line up and stop. And then he's going to power up those turboprops. And then he's going to zip off and take off. Yep, there he goes. Boost this up to 2 times. Get everyone in and out quickly. Leslie 926, runway 28, line up and wait.
Runway 28, line up and wait. Leslie 926.
So that guy's gone. What lining up and waiting will do is it'll, put him on the runway immediately without you having to worry about it, and then you can give him the takeoff clearance as soon as this guy's out of range. Usually I like to wait until they're about 1,500 to 2,000 feet just because if you launch them off at the same time, they'll actually get mad at you for it, and they'll tell you that that's bad. All right. Leslie 9026, runway 28, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for takeoff. Leslie 9026.
So we can bin this
St.
guy.
Thomas
He's parked.
Tower, Field Air 1621 on final 28.
All right. This guy's gone. Value 1118. Contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Boom. He's gone. Field Air 16. Ooh. Field Air 1601, runway 28, cleared to land.
Runway 28 clear to land.
Sometimes you
Field
got to
Air
be very
1601.
precise on what you tell them. Leslie 9026, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
So he's gone. We're still playing on 2x speed. You can kind of... It's a good way to be able to manage a smaller airport without getting bored and without getting overwhelmed. So we'll just bump this up to 4 times. And usually if anything pops up on the ground while I'm on 4 times speed, I immediately put it at 1 so you don't have them sitting there for a while.
St. Thomas Ground.
Like that.
Field Air 201 with information Golf. Ready to start.
So Field Air 201 is going to be over there. So they say... I think that might be over there. So when they say ready to start like that, but they don't need pushback, you got to tell them approved instead of pushback approved. Field Air 201 approved. Expect runway 28.
Ground 28 approved.
So these
Field
little
Air
Cessnas,
201.
they don't need pushback, obviously. They just start up their prop and they go. I think that's what we
St.
got coming
Thomas
in.
Ground, Field
Can you
Air
just stop?
220, with information Golf. Ready to start.
These freaking dogs behind me are playing. I'm sorry if you can hear them. Alright, who was that? Field Air 2201 approved. Expect runway 28.
Ground 28 approved. Field Air 2201.
Field Air 1621, runway 28. Clear to land.
Runway 28 clear to land. Field Air 1621.
St. Thomas Ground. Field Air 201 ready to taxi.
Field Air 201, runway 28.
Runway 28. Field Air 201.
Field Air 1601, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Field Air 1601.
The other thing that I'd like to see in this game that's not currently in it is, this, I mean, you saw this little Cessna landed in the same distance that the big, you know, A320-like planes landed in. I think it's kind of dumb. I mean, if you're a Cessna plane, you should be able to hit the touchdown zone and be off the taxiway by here, and that would really speed up this whole process instead of him going all the way to the end of the runway and then turning back and going all the way down the taxiway. It's just, it takes a long time. Pump it back up to 2 times speed. So 201 is
St. Thomas
taxiing.
Ground, Field Air 2201 ready to taxi.
Field Air 2201, runway 28.
Runway 28, Field Air 2201.
So he's gonna scoot off. See, this guy just got off the runway. That's at 2 times speed. It took him that long just to get off the runway. I think it's kind of crazy. So we're dealing with all prop planes right now. DPRP is these little Cessnas. There comes another
St.
one.
Thomas Tower. Denali 803 on final 28.
Denali 803, runway 28, cleared to land.
Runway 28
I
clear
mean,
to land.
he's
Denali 803.
15 miles out still, so By the time he even gets here, none of these planes will be on the taxiway anymore. Field Air 1621, taxi to terminal. Terminal. Field Air 1621. Okay. Field Air 1621, taxi to terminal. So you can see you got to be pretty precise sometimes.
Taxi to terminal. Field Air 1621.
Field Air 201, runway 28, clear for takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for takeoff. Field Air 201.
Cleared him to land. So 1601 is parked, 1621's here. You're taking off. So we'll give you the departure after you take off. Field Air 2201, runway 28, line up and wait.
Runway 28, line up and wait. Field Air 2201.
There he goes. Give him the departure here in a second. Wait till he's at about 1,000 feet. 8,000, 9,000. Field Air 2201, runway 28, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for takeoff.
And you can see the winds are
Field Air
changing here.
2201.
So the winds have shifted 4 degrees and decreased by about 3 knots
St.
since we
Thomas
started.
Tower, Denali 855 on
gosh.
final 28.
Sorry, my dogs are crazy. So we'll give them to departure. Field Air 201, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Bye. Field Air 2201, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Bye. 1621 is parked. Don't have to worry about him anymore. No, 803 is coming in. So yeah, like I was saying, the wind has changed a little. The speed and direction has changed slightly since we started. As you can see, the rain has picked up a little bit. I don't think rain has a huge effect on ATC in this game. It's not really made, you know,
St.
any change in
Thomas
decision for me.
ground, Denali 806 with information Golf. Ready to start.
Denali 806 approved. Expect runway 28.
Ground. 28 approved. Denali 806.
Here
St.
comes-
Thomas ground.
Yeah, so these are
Denali
all prop
806 ready
planes.
to taxi.
Denali 806, runway 28.
Runway 28. Denali 806.
There he goes. Turn it down to 1 times speed while we deal with these planes coming in. These are all Cessnas coming in, these DPRPs. Denali 803, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Dingley 803.
We'll come on out of here. Yeah. So as you can see, once you get a feel for the game, the flow is pretty quick. It's not too hard. You just gotta stay organized in your own brain when you're doing things. The only thing that I will say is it does take a long time to get through one shift. Each shift is 2 hours, and we've been running at 2 times speed for a while, and we're only at 42 minutes in. Denali 855, runway 28, cleared to land.
Runway 28 cleared to land. Denali 855.
Get off the runway. There you go. We'll kick it up to 4 times speed here. No reason not to.
St. Thomas Tower. Magic 114 and final 28.
Magic 114, runway 28, clear to land. I
Say
didn't get
again.
land in there. Magic 114, runway 28, clear to land.
28 clear to land. Magic 114.
Denali 806, runway 28, line up and wait.
Runway 28, line up and wait. Denali 806.
Denali 855, taxi to terminal. Taxi to ramp, that's wrong.
Taxi to ramp. Denali 855.
Denali 855, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Denali 855.
Denali 806, runway 28, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for takeoff.
So when you play at 4
Denali
times speed,
806.
even 4 planes running around is kind of hectic. So you just got to make sure you're watching everything here. I think that freaking sound is loud, dude. What even is that? Airplane speech. Turn that down. I can't turn down the
St.
rain.
Thomas ground, field air 8081 with information Gulf. Requesting push and start.
Denali 806, contact departure.
Negative. Denali 806.
Denali 806, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Field air 8081, pushback approved, expect runway 28.
Ground, 28 pushback approved. Field
that's
air
him.
8081.
Magic 114, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Magic 114.
Turn down the sound just a little bit. I don't want you to lose the voices, but that rain is really loud. At least for me.
St. Thomas Tower, Magic 8031 on final 28.
Field air 8081, runway 28.
Runway 28. Field air 8081.
Magic 8031, runway 28, cleared to land.
Runway 28 clear to land. Magic 8031.
Alright, 114. I'm just going to bin you. I don't think we have to worry about you anymore. Don't look like any more planes are starting up. So we're almost through an hour here. Pretty fun stuff so far. Hope you guys are enjoying the video. Let me know what you think of this layout. I think this is the best way for a viewer to see all the information and still get the 3D view. I usually play with this on a monitor and then all of these on a separate monitor. It just makes it easier to see bigger airports, but for a smaller airport like this where it doesn't really matter, this is a good setup. When we get to bigger airports,
St. Thomas
it's going to be a lot harder.
Denali 856 with information Golf.
The
Ready to
rain's
start.
gone. It's gone, the rain. Finally. Denali 856 approved. Expect runway 28.
Ground 28 approved. Denali 856.
So we'll let this guy land. He's under 1,000 feet. Slowing down for final approach. So we're back to the Dash 8s, it looks like. That's kind of what we're dealing with now. So with this guy taxiing in, we're going to have to make sure this guy parks
St.
before
Thomas ground.
we let this guy...
Denali 856
Okay,
ready
never
to
mind.
taxi.
They're on different stands. Denali 856, runway 28.
Runway 28. Denali 856.
So you just got to be really careful with these little planes. I end up crashing them into each other more often than not because the little stands are so close together, but those two are on separate aisles, so don't have to worry about it. And I like how they did this map. I don't know anything about real life ATC, but instead of it showing the actual roads, it shows the parking stands and taxiway paths. So it looks really weird compared to what you see on the screen out here, but it's really helpful when you're moving people around on the taxiway. You know exactly where they can and can't maneuver. All right, this guy's coming in to land. Field Air 8081, runway 28, line up and wait.
Runway 28, line up and wait. Field Air 8081.
Alright, there we go. Magic 8031, taxi to terminal. Magic 8031, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Magic 8031.
Weird. Sometimes it just takes him a second. Alright, we'll wait till he's off the runway. Field Air 8081, runway 28, clear for takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for takeoff. Field Air 8081.
If you want to be more official, I think you can give them the wind for takeoff. It doesn't matter. They don't need it either way. It's not going to change anything. But if you want to be like, you know, Field Air 8081, winds 272 at 3 knots, clear for takeoff, then, you know, it'll accept it. You can add a little bit in there and it'll still accept it as a command. But you don't have to do that. It's pretty rudimentary what you can tell the planes to do and they'll follow it. So it's kind of nice. You don't have to memorize a ton of commands. But at the same time, if you're used to, say, VATSIM ATC, it's going to be different because this is a bunch of robots instead of real people. So you can't, you can't skip steps. You can't say things out of order. Denali 856, runway 28, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for takeoff. Denali 856.
Field Air 8081, contact departure.
Roger. Good day.
Been those two. So we only got one active plane right now to deal with, which is kind of nice. Alright, there he goes. Goodbye, little Cessna, my last plane that we have to deal with. At least for now. Denali 856, contact departure.
Roger. Good day.
So we'll boost it up to 4 times speed until we get somebody pushing back or coming in. You're gone. So yeah, that's pretty much the flow. It's just how quickly and efficiently can you move a plane from the gate to departure or from arrival to the gate without crashing things. And once you get a hang of the commands, it's pretty quick and easy. Then, you know, once you get over the learning of the actual game, you can focus on getting more efficient at it, getting better at it. Especially on bigger airports, you're going to see we're going to stick. I think if we go through all of the campaign missions on the channel one by one, we won't get to the bigger airports for quite some time.
St. Thomas ground, globe 130 with information Gulf. Ready to start.
But once we get to the bigger airports, you're going to see why knowing the mechanics of the game is going to be very helpful. Globe 130 approved, expect runway 28.
Ground 28 approved. Globe 130.
Usually I like landing runway 10 because there's more taxiway exits. Usually they'll take this exit and park up. The only thing that does suck about that is if you have people landing and people taxiing, you've got to be really careful you don't put a plane here while this guy turns off because it'll make everybody get stuck. So you just got to be careful. You got to be very mindful of where planes are going.
Thomas ground, globe 130 ready to taxi.
Globe 130, runway 28. Yeah, you just got to be mindful of where planes are going. Knowing where a plane's going after it lands is going to be very helpful. The problem is when you have 15 planes departing, you know, and they're all over the runways or all the way over the taxiways, and you've got 4 planes landing all going to different gates. You have to make sure that when you're taxiing planes, that they're clear of the taxiways that the landing planes are going to need as soon as they get off the runway. You're going to see LaGuardia has just kicked my butt. I've gotten through it once, but I was sitting here last night sweating, just trying to get these, you know, planes around the airport.
St. Thomas ground, Leslie 1350 with information Golf, requesting push and start.
So that's this guy. Leslie 1350, pushback approved, expect runway 28.
Ground, 28 pushback approved. Leslie 1350.
Globe 130, runway 28, cleared for takeoff. So he should keep
Runway
moving here.
28 cleared for takeoff.
There he goes.
Globe 130.
And we got another plane coming in. So it kind of comes in waves. You'll have different waves of planes.
126 with information Golf, requesting push and start.
Value 1126, pushback approved, expect runway 28.
Ground, 28 pushback approved. Value 1126.
So the other thing you got to worry about is you can't push back from parallel gates at the same time, at least not right next to each other, because they will hit each other
St. Thomas ground,
on the
Leslie
backup.
1350 ready to taxi.
So if you're going to
St.
back up
Thomas
2 planes
Tower,
at the same
Magic
time,
8041 and final 28.
you've got to make sure that they're at least 1 gate apart or they will hit each other. Let's see. What do we want to do first? Let's do you. I believe that's 1350. Leslie 1350, runway 28.
Runway 28. Leslie 1350.
Globe 130, contact departure.
Roger. Good day.
He's gone. So he's ready to taxi. He'll call for clearance in about half a second. Once the tug's gone, you can see he turned into an airplane icon, which usually means they'll call for clearance to taxi at that point. Hopefully he's not glitched. Just kind of waiting on... Yep, there goes the tug. Magic 8041, runway 28, cleared to land.
Runway 28 cleared to land. Magic 8041.
Alright, when are you gonna call for taxi, brother? Alright, we cleared you to land. Alright. Value 1126, runway 28.
Runway 28.
Yeah.
Value 1126.
Either I missed it. Sometimes it glitches. If there's too many commands going on at once and you're not letting other planes talk during the dead time, sometimes they'll just miss their call. So you got to really pay attention to the plane icons on the ground and make sure that you're watching them. I'd really like to get this plane out. I think we can... No, there's no reason to rush it. Usually I would
St.
send
Thomas
this plane
Tower,
before.
Value
but-
1121 on final 28.
Value 1121, enter final runway 28.
Enter final runway 28. Value 1121. St. Thomas Tower, value 1121 at runway 28.
Okay, I don't know what that was. Alright, so we're waiting on this guy to land. We really should have got that other plane out, but there's not really a rush. There's only 2 planes on the taxiway. This guy's taking his sweet time. So there's 2 different types of prop planes. There's the STRP and the BTRP. And that one's an STRP. No. I'm stupid. They're all BTRPs. I don't know where I saw S. Whatever. So yeah, we could have got that. We could have got this this Leslie 1350. We could have got him out easily. I forgot that this was a prop plane, so he's going to slow down on final. But it's fine. It's fine. I think it's more fun to make planes line up and wait and then send them anyway. Just, I don't know, feels cooler. And then sometimes you'll have something where this guy will line up and wait, and this guy will won't follow him. So you kind of have to tell him to hold short sometimes. We'll put this back to 2 times while we're waiting. Leslie 1350, runway 28, line up and wait.
Runway 28, line up and wait. Leslie 1350.
Magic 8041, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Magic 8041.
Alright, as soon as this guy clears the runway, we'll send 1350. So that's a successful landing, but he's going to stop. Leslie 1350, runway 28, clear for takeoff. There he
Runway
goes.
28 cleared for takeoff.
He's rolling
Leslie
now.
1350.
Value 1121, runway 28, cleared for landing.
Runway 28 clear to land. Value
Sometimes it'll do something
1121.
cool like that where I said clear for landing instead of clear to land, and it'll redo it for you. There are a very specific list of commands that it accepts, so it knows what you're supposed to say, and it'll kind of fit it into that mold. Value 1126, runway 28, line up and wait.
Runway 28, line up and wait. Value 1126.
Leslie 1350, contact departure.
Roger, good day.
Boom, that one's easy. Value 1121, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to ramp. Value 1121.
Nope. Value 1121, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Value 1121.
Value 1126, runway 28, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for takeoff. Value 1126.
Cool. Pretty fun, pretty fun. I'll just launch it at 4 times, why not? So I'll wait for him to, get to about 1,500 feet. And then, yeah, so the 013, that's 1,500, 1,500. Value 1126, contact departure. So you're parked.
Roger, good day.
And you're gone. Cool. So we cleared those planes. We had about, 6 come through at the same time. Pretty easy. Not too stressful. It's a good trainer airport, is what this one is. Obviously it's only got 1 runway, but it's very easy to manage. You've got to watch out for your taxiways, but it's not too hard. You can usually kind of relax at this airport. It's kind of nice. So we're through 9:24 almost. We've got a little over 30 minutes left on this particular shift. We'll boost up to 16 until something happens. Don't see any lights going. I don't see anybody on radar. So sometimes you just sit here and watch the scenery. Getting a little cloudier. Make sure that our winds aren't shifting dramatically. We're still good. Realistically, we could land on any runway at 2 knots. It doesn't matter. I love the art style in this game too. It's not cartoony, but it's not realistic. It's like I describe it as like a soft cartoony. Like, you know, you get, can I zoom in? Hello? Okay, I guess not. Yeah, there we go. You get like this, you know, they're realistic looking and it's realistic ground textures, but it's not, I would describe it more like tilt shift. It's got a tilt shift feel, like I Spy book, you know? Like you feel like everything's really small when you look at it. And, you know, it is really small compared to where you are. But it's this cool effect where you feel like you're controlling little toys. And I think it's great. I think it's really fun. Visually, it's pretty cool. It does kind of hit the frames a little harder than I'd expect. Maybe turn down some graphics if you've got a lower end computer, but it's you know, I think it's a good game. I think if they iron out some of the UI issues, some of the quality of life stuff, add the autosave, blah blah blah, stuff like that, I think it'll be a really, really good game, because that's what most of the complaints, and that's what my complaints are. So nothing has happened for almost an hour here. We'll let the final 5 seconds. I think it'll end us here. Yeah, there it is. Game result: 22 handle airplanes, 12 takeoffs, 10 departures. No mistakes, no delays, no major mistakes, no fatal mistakes. Took us about an hour and 54 minutes, and we got a 50% bonus. So there we go. That was a fun first video. Next time we will do, so we've got it completed here. I reset all of these before I started, so just another day in the office. This one's not too hard. It's not until you get to here where it gets really tough. I keep saying that, but yep, right now. So thanks for enjoying the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I guess that's a little assumptive of me to say thanks for enjoying it. But if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. We are once again at 99 subscribers. Hoping to get to that 100. We might do a fun stream of this. We might do, I keep saying I'll do an A310 either across the pond or cross-country flight for the 100 subscriber special. So let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see any more Tower Simulator 3, I think I'll go through all of these. So there's a ton of missions here. I think this could, you know, spit out a good 20 videos. And it's just fun to play on Quick Play sometimes. Quick Play can get it a little boring sometimes when there's not a lot happening. These career ones are a little more action-packed, but they're still fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, ring the little bell so that you can get notifications for the next video, and I will see you next time.